Recording. Admit.
Mr. Bill Lowry's on the call. Good morning, Bill. Hey, Ron.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. Good to see you. Hi,
Hey,
Pamela.
We got a good group coming in. I gotta tell you,
Yeah,
Jess, this is over 2 years we've been doing this.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. It's gonna be 3 years in June. For the first week in July.
Just feels so
Like crazy,
good to have community to plug into.
isn't it? It's so much fun, and we love that you're a part of it. And I love that I know my peeps that I can call on at the last minute.
I know. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. The yes and the no's. Hey, Rita, good morning.
Morning.
Hi, Rita.
Hi.
Where are you located?
I'm in Red Oak, Texas.
Good.
Peggy, Rita used to be a part of my farm and ranch group,
Okay.
and she is going through Fast Cap with me, the Encore version, and she's my running mate.
Wonderful.
Oh, I love that.
We're having a good time.
Good morning, Bennett.
Good morning.
Hi, Rita. Hi,
Hey,
Bennett.
we got
Hi.
Megan Clark and Stacy Bray in the house. Got some
I
faces I
know.
know.
Hi,
Some I
Jessica.
don't. Hey, Ron. Good morning, Juan. Good morning.
Hey,
So what are we doing today, Peggy? Are you kicking us off, or we're kind of letting people trickle in and say good morning, right?
I'm going to let people, we'll give it
Good.
a couple of minutes. I'm going to say it a couple of times through the meeting. I am going to be in Cabo next week, and I don't know what happened this year, but this time change is kind of messing me up. And Brent has offered to let us do Wake Up Wednesday from his suite, and he never does anything at 7:00 in the morning. Well, it came to my attention that because of daylight savings time, it would be Cabo's going to be on the same time zone as us, 6 a.m. So what I want to know is, how do you guys feel about pushing it out an hour next week for all of us in Cabo and doing it 7 to 8? If we can really get the word out. Just want to get a feel of the group here.
You're the boss.
Well,
So would that be moving your time from 6 to 7?
yes.
Okay, so that would be moving my time from 8 to 9. That's fine with me.
It would be pushing everybody out an hour. And hi, Ron.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. You'd like it if I push it out.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So what's the feeling that this is a community? So I'd like to have everybody jump on and let me know what they're thinking, or put it in the chat if you're okay with that.
12.
With yous though, I'm happy to sleep in another hour in Cabo.
Oh, that's right, Pam. Good morning. You're going to be there.
Awesome.
Peggy, I'll
Yes.
be there as well. And I
Are-
said, yes, push it out, because that'll be our first morning getting up after the day of travel the day before, and the excitement of being there that night with the opening ceremony.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so Wednesday would be great to push it out an hour.
Okay, we're going to push it out an hour, and what we really need to do is just keep posting it and sharing it, that it's going to be a one-time change to have it out starting at, let's see, 10 a.m. Eastern next week, 9 a.m. Central, right? Am I doing this right?
Yep.
And then
That'd be 7 a.m. Pacific. Yeah.
7 a.m. Pacific. Are you going to Cabo, Jess?
I will not be in Cabo this year.
That's okay.
Had to squeeze in all the dots on the calendar. See, but Cabo is a blast. That's one of the first events I went to, and it was when it was like 600 people, the first one, which was fantastic. It's much busier now, but it's gonna be fabulous.
It's much busier. So I'm super excited about that. This will be my 3rd year doing Cabo, and I can't wait to be with everybody. So super stoked. And for those of you that are not there, we've got another event coming up that's almost sold out. We do a retreat, and Jessica, I don't know if there's any way of you coming, but every year we do a Wake Up Wednesday retreat. It is the 5th of May through the 9th. And it is at Gene and Susan's Lake House, just south of Dallas. If you would like more information, please let me know. It's going to be an amazing event. But in the meantime, I am so super stoked to have this beautiful friend. Love her smile. Always love your lipstick.
Hey, lipstick can make you look like you've been up for hours.
Jessica is here, and the excitement, the energy that she brings. I mean, to me, if you need to know someone at EXP, she needs to be in your circle of 5. It's just a non-negotiable item for me. I get to really just be honored and be in that close proximity. And now that I know you're right down the street from me, oh, you're in trouble. So let's just jump right into this, and super stoked. And Jess, it's whatever you want it to be, because there's a lot going on.
There's so much going on. Peggy, thank you so much. I just have to share that if I wasn't the type of person that always had my ears and eyes completely aware of my surroundings when I'm in environments with opportunities to meet great people, I wouldn't know Peggy yet. I think when we first met Peggy, we were at I think it was called the Horizon event. I lose track of the names of the events, but we were in Orange County at the event that Leo and Wendy put on. And I think we heard each other in passing and we locked up and said, wait, what? We engaged in a conversation. It was about 4 minutes long. You were on your way out the door. And then, we got connected again, which we're going to talk a little bit more about today. So thanks for having me. Welcome. Good morning. I'm Jessica Nieto with eXp Realty. I am a licensed broker in the state of California and in the state of Oregon. And I've been in the business since long before I was licensed, but was licensed first in 2013. I sell a lot of real estate. I like to edify myself a little bit. I certainly believe that I do not want to take up space, but I want to add value to you this morning. So we want to make sure you're talking to a lady that can help you figure something out, because I'm sure I can learn a lot from you all. And the first thing I wanted to share with you this morning is last year was one of the hardest years in real estate ever. I know that because Leo said it, and everything he says is based on data. Great context, but to put it simple, it was a really hard year for everyone. I think it was 74 or 75% of real estate agents didn't sell a single house.
Right.
So why am I bringing that up first? Not to start in the dark space, but just to lean into what I wanted to share with you all from my heart and my experience. I've already closed with my small team 42 sides, mostly listings. I personally listed over 155 homes last year. We closed over 200 homes. And this is how I want you to see productivity when you hear about agent success. This is the lens that I want to invite you to look through. I want you to think about a few more things. What kind of person are they? And are they a person that you want to be more like? Number 2, how profitable are they? How happy are they?
Yeah,
right?
great.
Right. And these are lenses that I want you to think about, because sometimes when we get so tied into the environment that we're in, and we see top producer, top 10, sold 1 billion houses, top YouTube star, I don't know that I could be that or do that, or that I want that. Right. And we're in this environment, with Instagram and social media all the time. It's not bad. Success is absolutely for the taking. But I wanted to remind you all of something that I personally have been on a journey on recently, which is redefining what it is that I'm headed straight to. Does that resonate with anyone?
100%.
We kind of are reinventing that sometimes all the time, right? Because as we change, we kind of change what we're going towards. So I had the privilege, I posted this on Facebook the other day, which is, some of the rooms that we are in, we choose to be in those rooms. You all chose to be in this room this morning, right? This community of amazing agents, not necessarily because you're going to come and find the entire playbook that you're going to execute and win at, but you're going to pick up some kind of nugget that you might implement, right? And more than anything, you're going to be in community with people that want to see you win. And that's number 1. That's why we're here this morning. That's why we come and hang out with Peggy, right? And I posted this on Facebook the other day because I was reflecting when I was invited to Dallas to the top 250 mastermind. We are the number 10 team in California right now, even up above Mr. Dan Beer that you know, right? And I share that with you because there's so many superstars in our business that are quiet in their business, but there's a lot of things that you can learn from them. And what I mean by that is there's some rooms that you have to pay to get into. There's some that you're invited into. There are some that you create and invite others into. And there are some doors that you have to kick down to get into. Make sense? This one you were invited to. You like that? I don't know your name at readingoverstreet.com, but I got your number. Share your name with me.
Reading Overstreet, and my nickname is Tucker, Jessica.
All right, Tucker. I love that. Tucker, what resonates with you with that?
I agree with all 4 of your doors, and I utilize all 4, and more often times than not, I will kick the door in to get in. So,
Yeah.
But I also let my performance lead the way. People that do business with me know I perform, and I'm inventive, and I can figure out my logo. I'm the missing thread.
Right.
And I'm the missing thread to the fabric of the deal. So
yeah, and that precedes you, right? Because
correct.
You've built a reputation of that.
Correct.
And so what I wanted to share today is when I first got started in this business, I was in Southern California, which was a place that I did not go to school. I didn't grow up in Southern California. I'm from Northern California, moved down to Los Angeles from the Bay Area. And I lost a bet with my now wife that we've been married for 11 years. And the craziest thing that happened for me was that I created a belief in what I could create. So I wanted to share something that I learned in that room in Dallas, the top 250 from Tom Ferry. I almost said Mike Ferry. Tom Ferry. He talked about his dad quite a bit, which was cultivating a belief. So if you have a belief in something, who's got a belief that they can build a bigger business this year and get everything they want?
Everyone on this call.
Everyone on this call, right? But sometimes it's just blunt force that we create belief, right? Like some of us look at the mirror and we say things in the, like, hey, I believe in you. I don't know how many people actually do that. I've tried it. It's kind of strange. Some of us say it out loud. Some of us hear it from others. We borrow the belief from others. Hey, you got this. You can do this. The community, right? But for me, one of the things that I like to do is create frameworks in which I can help my team get to where they want to go. And creating belief is more than just saying, I believe I can do it, right? So here's the framework that Tom Ferry shared from one of his mentors that I absolutely loved. And when you're reinventing where it is you're wanting to go and what it is that you want to do and what is possible in your life, this is the framework that I absolutely love, and it's been helping my team. So number 1 is you have to believe that it's there for the taking, right? So I believe that I can replace a lot of the business that I lost this year. I lost a bunch of business from my institutional clients. Within 2 weeks, which is what I'm going to share with you on this call, I replaced it. Wow. Okay, but I believed that I could do it. I didn't feel bad for myself, and I believed that it was happening for me and not to me. And I believed it was there for the taking. Number 2 is you have to believe that you are capable of getting it. You have to believe whether or not you have the skill set now, you believe you could achieve it. You can learn what you need to learn. You can develop what you need to develop. You can meet who you need to meet because you're capable of getting there and achieving what you want to achieve and getting what you want. And number 3, this is the big one. Number 3, Stacy, you writing this down, huh?
Stacy Brace taking lots of notes, and so is
I
Dee.
love it.
Yeah,
I love it. So
yes,
the third one,
taking notes.
Okay, good. The third one is that you have to believe that all of the effort will be worth it, will be worth the result that you're seeking. Isn't that a great framework?
You know what? Just say that again, because
Yeah.
people say, "Oh, I believe," but do they really? How is it shown?
Right.
How, it's easy to blah blah.
How
blah
much do you believe?
words.
Yeah, I think I could do it. Like, I think I could do it. I believe
Mhm.
it's possible. But how do you really cultivate like deep belief?
Right.
Bill Lowry, are you on the call? Are you able to chime in?
I'm here.
What's up, Bill? What would you add to that? And then I'll reframe. I'll jump through the three again for Peggy.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't believe in yourself, you're certainly your clients aren't going to. And what are you doing in this business?
Yeah.
I just how are you going to pick? I think we sell ourselves. We don't sell property as service providers. So that's how I envision it. So if you don't have the belief in what you're selling, which I believe is myself, you're kind of screwed.
Thank you. Right.
And one of the best examples is like some of our favorite athletes that were never actually like born with the best ability to be the best athlete, but because they trained over and over and they believed that effort would be worth it, and they believed that it was there for the taking, the championship could be theirs. That's how they created the success, right? It wasn't because they were just naturally had crazy abilities. Brad, nice to meet you. What would you add to that in the power of belief?
That's a great question. And thanks for putting me on the spot.
You're welcome.
So I think actually I remember hearing Jim Rohn say something like this too. And but cultivating a belief, it's something that it's possible to do. Like I never really understood it, the power of it, that I can create the beliefs that I want to have. Like, and then as an extension of that, I can create everything else around me. Yeah, that's heavy stuff. And it's very, it's funny that you're bringing it up because it's something I've been reading a lot about recently.
Well, I just like to go into really deep shit as early as possible with a group of people. It's just, I like to make people uncomfortable. So, and Dee Dee,
Jeff,
good to see you.
I want to say thank you so much, because I'm usually the one putting Brad on the spot because I coach him. Oh, it was perfect when you called on him, and it wasn't.
I love it.
Yeah,
I learned more from the input. So, like, one limiting, I'm going to share this with you all, is that for me, all of the success that I have in life and everything I want to achieve, I do in spite of myself. What do I mean by that? Like, I don't feel worthy to show up in most rooms that I'm in. I don't, and it's not because, it's not just the simple, like, I'm not good enough or whatever. It's even just like the physical, like, body experience that you have of just feeling like, should I be in this room? Right. And so that's why, sold 42 houses this year so far. Yeah. But smallest fish in the room, those rooms I need to be in. But I also love being in the rooms where people are just trying to figure stuff out, and I can take everything that I learned and help empower them to get what they want. But most of the time it's going to look different than what I want. Right. So, all right. So what I wanted to start with power of belief, because I think, this year there's so much noise and there's so many distractions of things that have been happening even ever since COVID, right? Just always like something going on. And in order to keep like laser focus on what we're trying to accomplish and what we believe is possible, we have to be using our abilities to share good into the world. And what's most important to understand in the real estate business is that the new currency is attention and awareness. Does that make sense? Attention and awareness. So if you can create attention and awareness around who you are and what you're doing, people will come to you like a magnet. This is a long game. You can't be tied to the outcome. You have to be in love with the process. Okay? So for example, I'm going to share a little story about my first client. Is anyone interested in this? Talk about institutional investor clients. Okay. So I told you how I'm not a neighborhood real estate person. I never started my business that way. It didn't sound fun to me. I think it's fantastic. I now help and coach other agents do that very thing. But for me, I just knew that I love people, but I also love numbers. And that was the only way I was going to get myself and insert myself into a marketplace and get market share, was by finding repeat customers, okay, and investors. And the long story short of attaining this client was that I was working for an auction company where we were helping them bid at auction in like 2012 and 13, up till 2013. And I experienced thousands of transactions inside of a couple of years before I was even licensed. So I knew how to underwrite houses. I knew how to evaluate homes for what they were worth. I knew how to research. I knew how to talk to real estate agents. I knew a lot of things about real estate. Fast forward, I've sold thousands of homes as a licensed agent, and here's where I got stuck. So this guy asked me, sorry, I got my funky on my words. This guy asked me one day, a realtor, he says, Jessica, can you tell me, and I wasn't coaching or training agents. I was just making money and doing whatever the heck I wanted in my business, right? I'm like 5 years in. And this guy asked me, hey, Jessica, I see that you sell so many houses. I was wondering, can you tell me how you do that? And it was the first time that anybody had asked me that. And I thought, no, what's the first thought? I have no idea. And so it was the first time that I'd really looked at it and thought, how in the hell did I do that? And I had to really dig down because I wasn't door knocking. I wasn't cold calling. I wasn't doing any of that. But what I had done was I had picked up the phone, and when all that REO stuff dried up, when I first started my real estate business, and I didn't want to be that agent that was farming or door knocking, which is nothing against that, but it wasn't for me. What I did was I picked up my phone and I started asking people how I could help them in their business, who I could connect them to in their business. Was there anything that they needed that I could go find for them, or any person that could solve a problem in their business that I could introduce them to, whether I knew them yet or not? So fast forward to 2025, with what a year this has been so far. I don't know if I'm the only one. Has it been a year so far? For us in California, we've had clients and family and friends devastated by fires. It's been tragic. And I have 24 agents on my team, and I've got my team members saying, like, what do we do? I have a client who I've worked with them for 10 plus years, who I lost a third of my business to a technology company. So you could all be like, oh, that sucks. Yeah, that totally sucks. No, for me, it was a blessing, because you know what? You know what I knew how to do? Pick up my phone. So here are the people that I called, and this is where I want to kind of pick up the rocks and show you where some business is hiding right in front of your nose. And I hope this is helpful, and I'd love for you to all add in if there's a couple others that you can think of. Number one, who has a super tight relationship with their title officer? Super tight, Pamela? Okay, tell me more. How often do you talk to them? I'm curious.
Well, I mean, at least a couple times a week, but more when
Perfect.
We're busy. But it's also not always just business. We're just really good friends.
That's awesome. Now, what do you typically talk about when you talk on the phone? Is it mostly like current business? Are you talking about how to cultivate new business? I'm putting you on the spot because I'm curious.
Some of both, honestly. We plan
Great.
seminars and events together. We collaborate with one of our local lenders and do events together, the three of us. So some of the times it's that. Some of the times it's just shooting the breeze and getting off topic for a minute when we need that.
I love that. So you have a relationship. That's super important. So I have a relationship with three title sales reps. They all know about each other. I'm not cheating. And one of them, I would say, we're more friends than the others, but the others are fantastic human beings. One of them, we connect really well, but they were never by choice. They were someone that my client wanted to use. So I'm on board. That's what they want. We cultivated a relationship. I have an entire notebook dedicated just to my conversations with them, and so do they. We summarize our conversations, we create action items and next steps for the things that we're working towards. Like, we don't mess around with how we cultivate business together, not just for ourselves, but we literally sit and we go through all the things that we're working on, all the projects we're working on, all the clients that we have, and then we cross-pollinate one with the other. How can we help them? Oh, you know what we should do with what's going on with the fires? Oh, you know what we should do that all of our contractors are worried about I-9 audits and mostly have TIN employees in California and being threatened with their employees to show up for work every day. How can we help them? Oh, let's get them together and have a conversation with this person. Let's bring this person in. So these are ways that literally we are just talking about how we can add value to other people. So I want to put a word out there that I don't know how often y'all think about this, but the word commodity. The difference between being a real estate agent that provides a service, which is a commodity. You're replaceable. You're like an escrow company. You're part of a transaction. A client wants to transact, they transact with you. Game over, right? The difference between being a master connector and cultivating relationships with your client is that you become the only choice for them because of how you nurture them. Not with your drip campaign, but with the check-in and, hey, how are you doing? Period, quiet, right? And it's listening and it's asking deeper questions. I have a couple really young realtors that work on my team, and they'll ask me, they're like, Jess, I'm nervous about, the scripts and not knowing. And quickly they learn on my team that we are resourceful until we are the resource. Like, it's never about knowing everything. And taking brand new baby realtors and turning them into like comfortable, confident realtors that convert at a high level. I'll tell you the switch, and all of you know all this. So I'm just reminding you, I'm not telling you anything that you couldn't tell me, but sometimes we need to hear things like in the moment that we're in. So I hope it resonates with someone, but remember that we are not a commodity, right? We are powerful and we can solve most any problem by connecting someone to the resource or the person that can solve their problem, right? And so how do we take those baby realtors or those people that come from different industries? I have a woman who's has come from Google. I have one that's a designer of wedding dresses, another one from Boeing as an engineer. And they come and they join my team and they're like, I don't know anything about being a realtor. I'm like, how are you with like people? Right?
Exactly.
How are you at the grocery store? Okay. Like, who are you when you check out? Right. Does the butcher wave you down when you drive by? Right. So how do you engage with people? And it's the energy exchange that we have and making people feel seen and valued. That's it. Right. So that's like Peggy and I, when we first meet, it wasn't just so much that we valued all the things that, we could learn from each other. It was that there was an exchange of energy that was positive and that was bright and that was comfortable and felt good. And so we're going to reconnect and stay connected and speak highly. I mean, Peggy says the most wonderful things about me. She doesn't know me that well, but I have a reputation of good integrity. So that precedes me, right? Dee Dee, I'd love to hear from you. You always share the most wonderful things. What would you share with that?
Good morning, Jessica and everybody. Thank you for being here. I am loving all of this, Jessica, because it's coming at a great time. Because early in the year, you come in with high hopes and dreams and a list of things for the new year to target and aim and get. And when those things don't line up exactly how you wanted them to and come about and to fruition and is not looking as positive as you thought the new year would be, you start to doubt yourself and doubt your actions. And stop some of the good things you're doing because you think they're not working, as opposed to being patient with yourself, comparing yourself, because I do that a lot, especially since I'm in the newer side, compared to the seasoned agents and the rock stars. I do watch you and all our rock stars, and I envision myself getting that. But I have to also remind myself to give myself grace, and time to learn and connect and be the connector. I agree with you, Jessica, because I love to be a connector in my community. I do it for my church, my school, and I love to hear this, what you just said today, because I'm doing that one thing perfectly well. So I have to use it
It's a
for
long
my,
game, Dee Dee.
that's right. I have to use it for my advantage and and to grow my business, because I just use it to just take care of people and be there for them. But I never thought of connecting it like you said, for the business. So yeah, I'm loving this very much, Jessica. Thank you. And it comes at a good time, and it is having an effect. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You're
And
awesome.
you're awesome. And I want to share that, I want to share some more ways that, or some more places where the business is hiding under the rocks. Things that you were like, oh yeah, duh, I could totally call them. If I use a vendor once, boom, I'm asking them for a referral like 7 times. 7 times.
Wow.
Guess how often we usually get the referrals when we ask a client, when we go to a listing appointment, we ask for referrals at the listing appointment. And typically it's the 3rd or 4th time that we ask that people go, oh, there is somebody. And we train them how to give us referrals. It's not like an intensive webinar. It's just like we just kind of mention like, hey, this is what that could look like. Right. If you hear anyone say the word real estate, moving, baby, anything, think of me, because I want to treat them like family and make sure they get really great service. And if you could just pull out your phone, throw in my number, save me as Jess, realtor or whatever, and then group text me with that person and just say, hey, Bob has a question about real estate. I know you're the perfect person to connect them with them to get the answer, or whatever. You depends on the person that you're talking to, but you just kind of give them a little training to put you in control of the referral. Couple places that I am really digging in right now. So I wanted to tell you first, so title officer, to wrap that up, that's where I was able to identify and replace. I got signed a contract for 35 listings in the next 6 months with one client. Right. Background check, like all the things. But how did I do that? Number one, I believe that I know my shit. I knew that it was there for the taking, right? I knew it was there for the taking. I believe that I was capable of getting the business. And 3, I believe the effort would be worth it. And let me tell you one little trick is, when you're talking with people, remember that the outcome, they can kind of see it, but you're also helping your clients cultivate belief in what they want. How do we help clients cultivate the belief that they can get there? Is you show them a process. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And how do we differentiate ourselves? Oh, how are we authentically ourselves and differentiate ourselves in the market? You show people a process, because hardly any realtor does that. They go for the listing. They say, this is what will happen at the end. Not my team. We show them the whole process. Here's our entire process. Hardly anybody reads it except for the engineers, right? The very analytical people. They're like, oh, they want to check it all out. They want all the data. They want everything. Most people are like, oh, that's cool. Okay, what's next? Right?
Right.
But the point is you're showing them value, but you're showing them process. So when I go into a meeting, I'm going to give you another example. Am I rambling with stories? I'm making sure I'm on point. I'm trying to make it linear. Okay. So I have a client. This was about 8 years ago. And this client had 45 multifamily homes that they needed to sell inside of 4 months. Okay. They were all occupied. Mostly, some of them were in disrepair. It was a really rainy winter in Southern California. It was raining a lot. And I went into the office and I was up against a guy, no offense, guys, but I believed that I was going to do a better job. And later on, my client told me, my longtime client, I said, hey, I'd love to get some feedback on my performance in interviewing for that portfolio to sell, what was the one thing that stood out to you and why you hired me? And it was, they came in and told me about what they thought about the market and cap rates and why I should sell and how I should price them. And you came in and you had an entire plan of how you were going to execute. And by the way, I got them all sold except for 2 inside 3 months. But you told us exactly how you were going to do it. And we believed in the process, and we believed that you could execute it because you had thoughtfully thought it through.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't more experienced than those guys. I definitely wasn't, they were probably way more confident. And it's Women's History Month. And I know we've got some great guys in the room, but Leo Pareja said this in Dallas. And this is something that I just love to spread the word on is just absolutely do it first in spite of yourself. Because the worst thing that can happen is you just screw it up and it doesn't happen, or you don't make it happen and you try again. But if you try to get more qualified to do that thing first, you're just going to keep making yourself believe that you have to continue to get more qualified to do something.
Jessica, I have a question, if you don't mind, about your
Sure.
process. When you're doing 1 unit as opposed to 35 unit portfolio, do you customize that process and say, this is how the
Yes.
process is gonna be for you in this particular case?
I went down into the detail. So I broke it all the way down. I thought, okay, what market are we in? I did my research. I essentially looked up and checked out some of their portfolio, but I went down into the details, even with a sample letter that we were going to serve to the tenant, how we were going to serve it with an envelope inside for them to also sign the estoppel with a copy of the lease attached, let them know our process, put my phone number for questions. I had my admin trained. We were going to do all of our inspections for smoke detectors, water heaters, everything else, and get them compliant when we did our first inspection. We were going to market them with basic stuff like disclosures already done. And, I went down to, I didn't go through every granular detail, but I gave them basically a packet of my entire plan.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I thought that was my only chance. So let me give you an example. You're in a listing appointment and the seller's they're going to interview another agent. What I hear when they're going to interview another agent is they've already hired me. I just need to show that my value already. So when I do my follow-up, I'll give you an example of one recent listing appointment. By the way, they interviewed 5 agents, this family. It was a trust sale, and there was a bunch of people that had to make a decision about which listing agent to pick. And they had rented an office space, which I ended up reimbursing them for at the end of escrow because I thought it was funny. They had spent $500 to rent this office space to have all these realtors come and interview with them. And I was referred to them by one of my clients. I was referred to them by a multiple selling client, and I couldn't be there. I was not even in the same state. So I said, listen, I would absolutely love to meet with you all. I'm unable to make it. I can send one of my assistants, but otherwise just, to set up Zoom. But if you could bring your computers, I'll jump on a Zoom with you. And I mean, it sounds crazy, right? Like what? They hired me. And I asked them why they hired me. And they said, you're the only one that asked us about our family.
Oh, Jessica, what does Jean Frederick say? You need to know the person's family 100%, their dog's name, their kids' names, their birthdays.
Like their dad, their grandpa had died. They love this guy. He's like a legend to them. And none of the realtors had asked them. They said, you kind of had the same, like everything else. But the other thing was that you showed us your team and we felt like we were hiring a company instead of a person. So I have a picture of my marketing, my admin, my TC, like all the people that work with me, my escrow, like I have a picture of all of them on the actual, like, meet the team. And I'm like, this person, that person. But by the way, I'm going to be the only person you talk to, except for, you're going to receive emails from this person. This person's going to do that. And they loved that. They're like, oh, I just felt like we were hiring a whole, by the way, I've never met them in real life, ever. I know it's awful. I've never met them in real life, and they've sent us 3 referrals. I know it's crazy. You guys like, can't you just go meet them one time? No, I haven't. My team has. I sent my assistant and one of my other agents, and they love them, but they always think of me. Why is that? Because my agents are trained, and also because they love me too. I love them. But when they go to listing appointments for me, they'll say, hey, Jessica also asked me to stop and get this coffee for you. She knows you love this coffee. Hey, Jessica was super excited for us to come meet you in person and kind of walk you through how we're going to prepare the house for sale.
I love that.
You like that?
I love it. I don't like it.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah, I got a referral from a gal out in the Carolinas recently. I've never met these guys. Like, I've never met them in real life. They ended up canceling the listing after we got it all prepared for sale, and it was beautiful, and spent all the money on marketing, and it was blah, blah, blah. And they're like, Jess, I'm sorry. Like, we just don't want to move out of state. We changed our mind. Guess how many referrals they've sent me, though? Never met these guys in person. So the reason why I share that is I'm not saying don't go meet anyone in real life, or you don't have to ever meet a client again in your life. But the point is I've built a business around how I want to live my life.
Right.
Because I like to be home. How many happy hours do I go to? 0. Lunches, 0. Some of you probably love having lunch with people. That's fantastic. I don't. I like to go on a walk instead with the dogs. I like to be home. I like to travel. So the point is that the way that you cultivate relationships with people doesn't just have to be based on doing the most work. It's just being the most of you that you can and being the most helpful. Because when we need help, there's 2 things that have to happen. 1, we have to ask for it. And 2, we have to accept the help when it's offered. I need help all the time. I need help. I've needed help this year. But I know that I've made so many deposits into the relationships that I have with my title company, the termite companies, the contractors, that I can call them and say, hey, I really would like to get some of your time. I've got a challenge that a problem that I'm trying to solve, and I could really use your advice. That person will absolutely stop everything and help me. And for all of you that can't afford like $200, $1,000 worth of coaching this year, or that consultant to like help you build some crazy big business or do all these, you don't need that. You just need to cultivate relationships with people. Like Peggy, all of the years of her experience in real estate, building a revenue share organization, having all these amazing friends in this world. I know that I could call Peggy and say, Peggy, I just need your advice. Do you have 5 minutes? I really just have one question that I think you might be able to solve, or a person. So I have to ask for the help. And then when Peggy says, you know what, let me help you with that. Let's set up another call. And I want to introduce you to someone. I have to say, thank you. No, you have to say, thank you. And that's the power of reciprocity, right? But you have to ask for it. So thank you for spending. Yes, sir.
And Jessica, I love how you threaded Peggy's name into the conversation. Doesn't that involve you more, Peggy?
Yeah, it does. And I think that everyone here has got a relationship with people on these calls. And I know we've built such an amazing community that any one of you can pick up the phone or go to our Wake Up Wednesday group, see someone and call them. And I can't imagine anyone here saying no. And that leads us to how Jessica got here today.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, Jessica, this is Bennett, and I've got a question.
Yes,
a situation. I've got 18 potential listings offered to me from a good friend of mine. I've known this guy for 21 years, and I know his family. I know him very, very well, and he lives in Santa Fe. He's basically a slumlord in Dallas. And so he's got these properties. He's just ready to liquidate them and get rid of them. And I can't get him off the mark. He is all over the place. I even brought Redding in, or Tucker, to help me, because I've just felt like I'm too close to the guy. I know him too well. So
bring him valid, get a marketing agreement with him, right? In writing, get a marketing agreement or a listing agreement for whatever his price, and go out and shop him around to some people and get some hard. I recently had a guy reach out to me. He's out in Lancaster. He owns a big portfolio, bought him at a great price. They're all occupied. They're not in great shape. He thinks they're worth more than they are. He's not in a distressed situation. And it's like, I went out and I got he's also a broker, but he's, kind of retired. And I went out and I said, listen, give me a marketing agreement so I can market these. And I'll go and get 3 people to tell you not no, but why they won't pay your price. And then we can revisit the conversation. Or you can soften it and say, I'll go out and shop 3 people to tell you, why or why not they would pay your price, and get you a little bit more like solid context to the yes or no, so that we can work through a great strategy to get these sold. Now, the other thing that I did was I took a spreadsheet and I said, okay, because he's like, I'll just sell one of them one off occupied. I'm like, that sounds like a really great plan. To get full market value. Right. So here's what I did is I took the whole portfolio. I had him put together like a basic rent statement. I had to make a template for him, put a basic rent statement together. And then I have to be careful knowing which of these calls are on YouTube or Facebook. So I know this one's not on YouTube. So.
No, it will be though. So be careful, because we
okay.
all now.
Okay, perfect. So that's fine. I'm not saying anything bad. I don't care. He probably looks me up and then he'll really know how I feel, which is what I told him. So that's the great thing about integrity. Say what you mean, because that shit is online. Excuse my French. So here's what I did is you want to put them all the way down in the spreadsheet with exactly like their price. And then one-off sales costs, hard costs, right? Escrow, title, everything, doing them individually. And then, put their just basically do a breakdown and show him the cost, what it's going to really cost him to sell each one individually versus maybe like a bulk scattered sale, which you could shop to a couple groups and get their feedback, and just show them side by side what that could look like. Is that helpful, Bennett?
Great advice.
Yes, it is. I appreciate that. Thank you.
And does he want to sell them one off?
Yeah, that's what the current plan is, because running the numbers that we've done, putting them together and trying to sell them as a group of, say, 8 or 10 or 18 of them, and to a investor, he can make more money if he sells them one at a time. But as we do that,
but whether or not he
it
wants
takes more time to
right?
do that. Right.
Yeah.
And he's
cool.
just all over the page.
Are they single family? Are they single family homes? Are they decent? Is it decent product?
Home, and they're all leased. There's one of them is not leased. And
I've got a buyer for you. If you want to reach out, I'll have them give you a price. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what awesome. It's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. All right. So here's a conversation. I'll kind of wrap up with one last example of going out and having conversations with people. I have a contractor I met with yesterday. They've been doing maintenance for one of my institutional investor clients. And I love their family. In fact, they created a job for my brother at some point, working and doing stuff when he was kind of resetting his life and what he was doing. And so they kind of became family too. And I sat down with them yesterday for an hour on Zoom. And here's the key is you want to frame a conversation to kind of create the environment in which people will share, but they understand why you're asking questions. Let me tell you more. I don't know his wife as well as I know them. She probably thinks that we know each other better than we do, but I haven't spent a lot of time with her. So I want to make sure if I'm asking them a bunch of questions about their business that they understand my intention, right? So I'm going to say, hey, listen, I wanted to get together with you because I know there's a lot of volatility in the type of work we're doing with, tariffs and the pricing and everything, cost of everything going up. And y'all are probably concerned, and we're all in this business together. So I wanted to sit and just brainstorm and ask questions to see where there's possible synergies of how we can help each other and collaborate and grow some more business together. So what did I do is I created a safer environment for me asking like pretty direct questions. Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of set the stage. I found 4 ways that I could help them. And then I summarized them and sent an action list of what those items were, and then calendared what I needed to do in order to follow up and then get back with them so we can have a Zoom next week. One of them was actually help connecting them to building out a small sales team so they can just start doing more investments themselves, so they could keep a lot of their guys busy because a lot of their work has been cut back. Isn't that interesting? So they have money, capital, contractors, all the ability to flip houses, except they don't have a sales team. Creating clients.
You
So
just have to think outside the box a little bit. Anything's
yeah.
possible.
Especially when you care about people without knowing what the outcome will be. Because then again, going back to like being tied to the process and not the outcome. Process is not just like the process in which like a house is sold. Process is also just like the work that we do repeatedly and consistently. Like you could call 50 people for 2 weeks and not set one appointment, but it's just the process in which you're even getting better and you're putting in the reps. And by the time you get inside of like onto 2 weeks and you're making those 50 calls, it is extremely likely that you're going to start setting appointments, right? And that's the only difference between somebody that shows up and does it consistently to the person that just like didn't work, open houses suck, to the person that says, I don't care about generating 50 leads and getting them into my CRM. I don't even know how to use this thing. I just care that I meet 2 people and have 2 great conversations, and I set a follow-up and they know exactly when they're going to hear from me again. And we're going to go out and maybe have some of that lunch. I'm not going to have lunch, but see what I'm saying? Yeah. Not me, but you, baby.
I guess so. Lunch with you. All of this that she's talking about, guys, you've got the skill sets for it. And what we talk about all the time is, are you self-sabotaging? Do you have that limited belief in your head? Are you saying it's not going to work for me? Bullshit. I can say it because it's my Zoom.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're habit loops, better. Right?
I've calmed my language down.
Mine's way calmed down.
Yeah. So I believe, Jessica, every single person on this call, I believe in it. And you get to just be yourself. You're
oh my God, yeah.
in this business because you like people. Now I know Ashley's not on the calls. I could say this. She can't stand people. However,
that's okay too. It's not for everyone.
Right. But she's really good and provides a value with numbers in a one-on-one basis. Ashley isn't going to do what I do. I'm not going to do what Ashley does. So, find your strength, find a partner, build with a community. Think about, okay, how can I get this done? Bennett came on this call. He talked about this, and Jessica's like, oh my gosh, I might have a buyer for that. Talk about it. Don't be afraid to talk about what you do. And I just want to point out, because, Evelyn McDonald, you don't know who she is, but I want to just do a shout out to her. She is a mortgage broker here in this area that has never asked for business on this call, yet she shows up every single Wednesday morning, 6 a.m., and she's there to support you guys. And I love the fact that she's here learning, but doesn't come on and want something, right, Evelyn? She just took her mic off.
Hey, Evelyn.
I learned a lot. I write down notes all the time. It's great marketing strategies for me as a loan officer too. So I'm very, very appreciative.
Right. Yeah, it's just all about showing people who you are
Yes.
rather than telling them who you are.
Yeah.
Exactly. And know your partner. So I want to be mindful of time with 5 minutes. You were just in a room with 250 top people. What were your biggest takeaways of what's coming? I know we're going to have a whole, and we can't get into it today, but guys, wait till you see. Jessica, you and I are going to talk. We're going to be partners now on this new rev share.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. I
There's
don't know if we can even talk about that, but yeah, I'm excited. It's not a secret from everyone, but it's maybe not
but whatever.
worth a teaser.
Yeah.
But there's other stuff, right?
Right.
I sent a workplace chat to Glenn Sanford yesterday and said, thank you so much for adding another tool to our toolbox at EXP, Fixer, FYXER. I've been looking for a solution for email for a long time. And email's brutal. Like my number one reason why I want to be a billionaire is so I can control alt delete. Just kidding. But you know, joking, but I heard Glenn say that one time and I thought that really does sound amazing. But you know, you have to read email, obviously. And a lot of people communicate via email in business, right? But Fixer.ai is the only tool that I've experienced and tried and I'm using now that Glenn gave out to us. And it will be available shortly to all cappers and icon agents as a free tool. And yesterday, I clocked it saved 45 minutes for me by categorizing my email. It also comes in and records your Google or your Zoom calls. And then it also drafted messages to me. It gave me 2 options and it has learned my voice. So it has drafted, every email already has a draft of what I usually say to that type of email. And I just it learns your voice even more. So that was a fantastic tool. Number 2, if we've got Leo and EXP are putting on masterminds. If you haven't seen already, for producers, for team leaders, any team leaders in the room. Team Leader Academy has been fantastic. So that's available. Also, Brandon Brittingham, if y'all are interested in investing, I joined Expand Investing. We did our first in-person mastermind in Dallas. He is a fantastic human being. And for a very low price, you can get in and literally in one mastermind, you will definitely pay yourself back in dividends with the knowledge that you'll gain there. So that was fantastic. Some of the other things that are coming up, I mean, I would just say get into the room.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't get into the room or you're like physically not capable to get there yet, or you don't have whatever the reason is, find someone who was in the room and ask them what they're most excited about. Like Peggy is asking me and sharing with you all, and mindful of time, we have like 2 minutes left. So I'll leave you with this. You do not have to pay to go out and get the person that will help you solve the problem that you have in your business right now. You just need to pay attention to who can solve it. And you need to find a way to go get that information. And then you can use a community like this to hold you accountable for what you're trying to implement by telling them what it is that your goals are, by telling them what work will be required by you in order to achieve it, and asking someone to help hold you accountable. That's free.
Yep.
So I'll leave you with that. Thank you for having me, y'all. Appreciate you. Love all these faces. Good to see you, Megan. Yeah, absolutely.
We got a great group, and I know there's a list of people that we want to rotate through. You know, I'd love it. Dee Dee always puts lovely little hearts up. But again, so next week we'll watch out. We're going to confirm the time to adjust for Cabo time. And then the following week, 2 weeks from today, what Jessica just said, just because you can't be there, get with the people who were there. We will have a panel and recap Cabo. So Pam, I know you're going to be there. Peggy just left. She's going to be there. Bunch of people who weren't on the call today are going to be there. We want to help you and we want to lift you up. We've got everything here for you. Thank you so much. I want to give a shout out to Jonathan down there in the Maryland, Annapolis area. So glad to see you on the call. Reading, love it. Brad,
I'll
Judy,
see you next week, Peggy.
you're going?
Yep, I'll see you in Cabo.
Hey,
Woohoo!
We will.
hey, Peggy,
We will be.
Peggy, I want to introduce Priscilla Cuervo.
Oh,
She
sure.
just was been on the call. She's one of my new friends. So she's up here in McKinney, Texas.
Wonderful. Glad you were here. Jessica, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's 7 o'clock. Ron, I'm going to broker preview. Call me.
We'll see ya.
See you,
Have a great
Peggy.
day.
Bye,
Good to
guys.
meet
You too,
y'all.
Peggy. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Jessica.
Thanks, Peggy.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Jessica. Thank you,
Bye.
Thank you.
Peggy.
Bye-bye.
Everybody.
Everybody, bye, Pam.
Thanks,
Brad,
everybody.
see
See
you.
ya.
Is
Good to see you
Jessica
too,
still
Peggy.
there?
Is what?
Is Jessica still there?
Jessica left.
Oh, okay. I was just hoping to get some of her planning shared if she can.
Go to Workplace
Mhm.
and chat. Go to Workplace, look her name up, and she will send you whatever you need. Where are you located?
In Austin.
Oh, you're in Austin.
Mhm.
Oh, fantastic. I am doing a retreat, Pat, in outside of Dallas the first week of May. So if you're interested, I don't know if there's an option for you to come. Let me give you my phone number. It's 860
Mhm.
638 7944.
Excellent. And what's the dates on that?
The dates are May 5th through the 9th. Margaret, I think Annie's coming if you want to come down on that. But it's going to be, you'd save on plane fare. It's amazing. It's changed people's lives from what they tell me. This is our 3rd year. So
Nice.
the
I
possibility,
appreciate you sharing.
that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Thanks.